Hey friends, it's Andrea, and I'm back. I'm back with a video process of art and paint and stamps and all kinds of good creative stuff going on here today. So I have opened up a Bible page and I'll explain to you kind of how I arrived at this particular verse. But first, we're going to cover this in paint. I never used the card technique, but I've seen Shauna do it and I've seen other people do it, and I'm super nervous and random about what I'm doing right now. But I'm having a good time here. I've picked 3 colors, and actually one of the gray colors, I just used some white and lightened it up so that I have a white, a light gray, and then a darker gray. So I'm just throwing the paint around where it's blank. And I gotta be honest, I never really like the way that it's coming along while I'm working on it until I get the opportunity to kind of fill in the gaps with the bright colors. I kind of felt like I'm just moving along, moseying along, and then I was able to lay down that beautiful greenish turquoise color. And to me, that's just when it started really popping for me. So I'm using a sponge brush in addition to that the card. So it was really just a leftover gift card, but I'm really excited to get the new Illustrated Faith paint cards. Those are going to be super fun to use. So the last piece after I kind of let all that other stuff dry was to take a flat brush and go in and just fill in the blank spots, because for me, it just felt better having it feel a little bit more complete. So we're just going to let that dry, and basically the only place that I left open was where the verse sits. So we're talking about 1 Timothy today, and what led me here. Oh, and by the way, this new devotional from Gina, who's super awesome design team babe, she created the His Love devotional, and these stamps are amazing. So I'm basically using all the patterns to create a little bit of a triangle in design here. So Timothy, I was drawn to. Let me start from the beginning. Being a kid isn't easy, okay? And being a teenager is not easy. And I mean, besides having way less responsibility and worries than parents, teenagers seriously have it really hard. They have to learn how to navigate through all the obstacles of their environment, and they've got to make it free and clear into adulthood. It's tough, especially these days. You've got information at your fingertips, constant interactions, constant distractions, and the world is knocking at their innocent doors. And a dear friend of my parents once told me, and this has stuck with me for probably 15 years, is that her and her husband would consistently pray for their only son's future wife. I mean, like, you don't even know her. And I was floored, flabbergasted. They prayed for her faithfulness and her patience and her spirit. And I'm just thinking, wow, right? So this has just stuck with me. And I've always wanted to figure out how I could specifically pray for my boys and their future. So I reached out to her and was like, hey, can I have some recommendations? And one of the things that she sent me, which was fantastic, was 1 Timothy, book 4, verse 12. Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and purity. And that is what I want for my kids. I was reminded of just in general, my oldest, who is 14, has always been quite mature. And adults notice this about him. And it makes me very happy that we've gotten him to this point and that he's gotten himself to this point. But I've just recalled several times when he stood up against peer pressure or, was praised by other adults about his maturity. And what it makes me feel is that he's on the right path. And I feel so good about being able to pray for him in a more specific way now. And I actually have enjoyed doing this Bible entry so much that I've actually already started to make a list for each boy in my planner with different strengths I want to help encourage, maybe weaknesses that I'd like to strengthen in them, and specific pieces of their futures that I would hope to see fulfilled as they grow. And that's my goal. But for the rest of this layout, this entry, it's about him being a leader and being that kid that doesn't just follow along with what the world is doing, who's really making smart decisions about who he spends his time with, what he spends his time doing. And he's not perfect. He is far from being ready to fly, but for being this age and already kind of having that foundation really makes my heart sing as a mama. So what I'm doing at the very end here is, so I've made the title and I've done some things with some of the Bella Boulevard stickers and the big homespun alpha stamps there. And then here I'm making some lines so that I can do some journaling, because I just want to write a little something to him. So one of the other things that inspired an entry about a specific child was a class that I took on, the Illustrated Faith, when they were at Studio Calico. And Shauna had an entry for her oldest daughter, and it was very inspiring to make an entry to them and not just about them, or not just for me or about me, but more as something for the future, that somebody's going to look through this, hopefully it's them, and see how much this meant to me. So I super happy how this turned out, and I just am feeling so wonderfully led to make more entries like this. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching this and hearing me blabber around. But the final thing I'm going to do is just take my make a date stamp and just stamp the date that I worked on it, so that that's kind of forever in the book. And I really hope you guys have enjoyed watching. We will talk really soon. Bye, guys.